All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am here with Boxing 5 promoter Larry Wainstein, and you put on a great tournament just last month, and it was actually the beginning of this month. And wow, what an atmosphere we had on fight night. Welcome, Larry.
Hi, Aidan. Thanks very much. Yeah, it's very kind of you. I think it was amazing kickoff to the year, and we just hope things can get better.
Let's. I mean, geez, to top that bill as well. I know it was a development tournament, but the atmosphere was electric. The house was on fire, and of course, I think everyone that came to the venue really appreciated what was going on. I just wanted to quickly bring the bill to you, Racha. If we have a quick look at, what we went through on the nights, we saw a handful of fights: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 fights on the evening. I mean, what does it take to put on all those fights?
Well, first of all, it takes a whole team. It's not just me. We have a team put in place. As you can see, the actual digital advertising that goes on, the stuff that you do, the stuff that my guy Ndili does, the stuff that Usama does. It takes, and let's not forget AB Manisi. He's an integral part of that, and it's amazing. You start this weeks before, and you push right through, and it doesn't stop. So it takes a lot of work, a lot of effort, and a lot of team effort. I'm just there to guide the guys, and as I always said before, we have an amazing team, and which is comprising of Colin, Riaz, the box camp, Vision View, and all their production people. The amount of meetings that go in to get it right. You've been in it, so that's really what it's about.
Yeah, and obviously the gum shields as well that you did after the shows. I mean, the boxers benefiting from not just winning on the night, but getting a bonus on top of that.
There's no doubt. We look for these things. I think it's we almost only a week away, and already 5 guys have been to collect them. So it just shows you how important it is to them. It's fantastic.
All right, and let's look to the tournaments again. I'll bring up the tab and basically talk me through which fights you thoroughly enjoyed. I know they were all great fights in the evening, but is there a standout fight or two in your mind?
There is a standout. There's 2 fights that stood out for me, which had the people on their feet. And funny enough, it was although the bill was very, very well matched, I think the 2 standout fights were the 2 boys. They put on a show second to none. That's Kadri and
Samir Muller as well.
Those 2 fights were amazing. I thought really were good.
They were. I mean, Ishmael as well. I mean, you write about the matchmaking. Lucky Hobwane, 2 wins, 2 losses, but much better than his record suggests. He was always going to be a tricky fight. So you knew going into that one that it was going to be a hard one.
Definitely going to be. When I say I wish, that's why I leave it to AB. I'm part of the marketing, putting the team together. AB knows the fighters. We don't get around to seeing the undercards unless you're going to all the tournaments and seeing the guys fighting. So, and there's nowhere you can go and look and say, let's look at their fights, So, but AB is the one who actually goes around at these tournaments and makes himself available to put on these shows.
So, I mean, you made no excuses or anything. That was a pure development tournament. Did you get out of it everything that you wanted?
We got out. I think we got out everything and more. What it showed is that people want to watch good boxing, and I think our previous tournaments have given us a bit of a reputation of having good fights. People aren't there. The boxing fans come to watch the boxing, and even if the guys who support somebody else and they're enjoying the boxing fight, they start screaming and getting the crowd going. But they don't sit there and wait for their guy to fight and then only shout when it's about boxing. It's about the boxing crowd that comes. And Boysons, if it was a little bit bigger, we wouldn't move to any other venues coming in the near future. But the development tournaments will stay there, and it's got such great atmosphere, and it's such a great venue.
I think one of the moments of the night, which perhaps you didn't enjoy was not necessarily the results of the main event, because I understand two boxers get in the ring and they do it, but the fact that Sinakosi broke his jaw in the fight, that must be a very sour point for you.
A very sour point, and I'm not one to complain and want to put it out there, but I put it straight at BSA's feet. It's their fault. And why their fault? It was a fight that was taken by Alan Tawell 3 weeks before the fight, and rightly so. He said we'll put on the fight, but he has to fight at a heavier division. The guy that he was supposed to fight 2 weeks before, they tell us he needs to have a brain scan. They tell me I must take there were two fighters. I'm saying, but hold on, these guys haven't fought. They got licenses. How come this wasn't done at their licensing? At the licensing, next thing they go straight to the boxer and say, "You must go and have a if you want to fight." Now, where's the boxer got 10,000 rand to go and have a brain scan? If that's the case, he wouldn't have taken out his license in the beginning. But it didn't happen. So what happened is now we're stuck to take off the main fight. It would have been the second time our main fight was cancelled. The first one was in December, where the welterweight Mark hurt his hand. Now we got another one, a top 8 round fight with a boy that's unbeaten, and now we had to just take the fight at the super bantam and not bantam. And I mean, it was totally irresponsible of BSA to deal in that manner. They do not stick to their times. I'm sorry. They do not. When you have to have your money in 14 days, when you have to have the fight bill in at 14 days, I just, sorry you pushed the wrong buttons. It's not about that, but that is their fault. And I will make it known to them. Now the boy's got a broken jaw. He's out for 8 months. We don't complain if the fight was the first fight that was matched, but it wasn't. Sad, yeah. And it's sad that the boxers have to go through this, and they are so desperate to fight, they take the fights.
And I know you obviously look after the interests of Sinakosi Malotswa as well. So it's 8 months is a long time to be out, and that's just simply 8 months of basically rehabilitation, not even a guarantee that he gets back into the ring in 8 months, if I'm not mistaken.
Exactly that. And just to let you know that 4 weeks before the fight, Sinakosi used to work at the building where my brother had a gym. He used to work as a security guard to earn a living for a place to stay. He wasn't being able to train properly the previous fights. Riaz and I took a decision with Colin. We said to Colin, what do you think of this boy? We want him to turn full time. We will look after him. He will stay at Boyson's. We will make sure he's got food. We'll make sure and we think he should concentrate on boxing because we believe in his talent. 4 weeks before. He's there at Boyson's, doing everything right, training. The guy is phenomenal. And this happens. 8 months is out. So now what happened is, having the partners that I've got and the people that we have, Riaz is unbelievable. Riaz came to me, we said to me, listen, they're taking him to Baragwanath. We took him out of there, we went to Garden City. He got one of his surgeons that he knows, the facial, because he's in the teeth industry. The guy said, take him to Garden City, I'll operate on Saturday, we'll get him sorted and we'll get him out. God forbid he had gone to Baragwanath. So what happened then after that, he came home. We've had a sit down with him. We've told him he's staying here. Let's work through it and see what happens. Nothing changes. He will stay at Boyson's. He will continue to be looked after. And when the 8 months is up, we'll take a view whether he can or can't. Sunday, they had a white collar fight. On the Friday, we were there doing some shoots for the new tournament. Rio says to me, where's Sinakosi? I said, I don't know. He's up in the lab. I'm teaching him how to make gum guards. For the time he's out, he'll be doing gum guards and he'll earn a salary. Where do you find that, Hayden? Where do you find that, brother? I mean, we are so blessed to have the people that we've got, and especially Riaz and his family. Sure. Boxers don't understand what he puts in. And it's not about, how much is it going to cost me? He just does it, and because that's what should be done. And obviously we thought we were covered. We thought we had what you call it. If there's any injury on the premises, you're covered in licensing. When we found the insurance, they said no. Boxing doesn't cover that. You got to have each fighter covered with compensation. So now going forward, with every fight we put on, we'll make sure it happens because it's come out of Riaz in my pocket, and it wasn't cheap, but we don't mind that. He's a boxer. He's one of ours, and we'll look after him.
Wow. So quite a good initiative going forward. And I think other promoters can also take a leaf out of your book and Riaz's book, and go for something like that, because these situations do happen. I mean, it's not frequent that these situations happen, but there is always an opportunity, especially in a sport like boxing. So, yeah, just to open up that can of worms, obviously a big mistake was made with the matchmaking for that.
Yeah, well, at the last minute, 3 weeks to go, say to AB, can you replace the guy? AB says, I've got a guy, but he's not prepared to fight bantamweight. Who else? And now we're waiting, because now we've got to put the names in and replace the fight. Otherwise, they take the fight off. They also put you under pressure. They don't give you any room for maneuvering, except if you're somebody else. So, and which I can't believe that I saw a bill the other day, and on it says to be advised. We can't put on our form applying for a date, a sanctioning date, to say this is our boxer to be advised who the opponent's going to be. How does that work? But for some people, it's okay. I'm sorry, Hayden. I love to be positive, but you just got me on a day where I've had time to think. Riaz and I've met, and I don't for 1 minute feel that we hard done by. It's not. It's, as you say, it happens. It could have happened to anyone else. We take it and we move on. But things have to be changed to make sure if that boxer was anywhere else, there's no ways he would have got the treatment he got from Boxing 5, not just from me and Riaz, from Boxing 5. So it's a sad state, and BSA cover no compensation. I've seen boys that have come back from title fights, and they've had damage done, and they've had to go home. Finished. Go and sort yourself out. Wrong. It's wrong. Anyway, let's get to some positive stuff.
Yeah, I mean, look, it doesn't end there. I mean, life does go on. You did an amazing tournament, and you got amazing tournaments coming up. When are we? I'm not expecting you to announce a bull, but what sort of area are we aiming for the next one?
For the next one, we're looking in April, a big one, fairly big one, to be announced quite soon. We're just getting all the pieces of the puzzle together, and there's a bit of a thing with one of our other fighters that the fight's now been put out, which helps us a bit. So now what we're doing is, from tomorrow, I've already got AB already giving me opponents for the fighters. So we're not waiting for the date. We're going ahead and doing it. It would be hopefully towards the end of April, where we'll put it on, because we always feel, and this is not going to be at Boyson's, this is at a new venue that we've got, and it's going to be very, very exciting. And I think it's going to be something that people will really stand up and say, oh, these guys are really arrived. And it's not me, but Boxing 5, me and my partners have put time and effort into this, and we have a plan. We work to a plan. We've got the dates for all the other tournaments. It's just getting this one up and done. And we've just thrown a curve ball, and now we've had to rejig, but there's still going to be amazing fights, honestly. And we're getting guys phoning us every day. Please put us on your tournament. So the development fights will continue. The next development fight will be in May at Boyson's. So that's our plan. And thereafter, that would have been 3 for the year and another 5 to come. So we're planning to do 8 in the year. We've done 1 with another 7 to come. Hey?
Wow. So I mean, you said the next development one is in May. So just for the spectators out there, that means that the next one is not a development bull. It's a big bull. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, the next one's a big one, and then the development one in May. So we've got to get our ducks in a row and get the big one before that development one comes in. But it's already, I would say, 3/4 done. We're just waiting to be rubber stamped, and then we can start announcing. We're already getting fighters' contracts to sign for that. So and we're very, very excited about it. Honestly, we are. It's really taking a giant step, and let's see. It's not about competition in boxing. It's about giving the people what they want. And if we can do something good, and people can say, oh, let's try and do that, or let's also do that, or somebody puts on a good tournament, we're only too happy, because the boxers benefit. And that's what this is all about. It's all about giving the boxers the benefit, because they deserve it for the way that they put in and train. Really.
I wanted to go back to the development bowl really quickly, and I wanted to focus on some of the losers. So you had Tyrone Shaper and you had Tuvia Viviji, who looked decent up until the point of the fights that they lost, but that doesn't mean that they necessarily are bad boxers. It just means they had tough fights. Do you still look to put those guys on because they are good boxers inevitably?
And definitely, we can't put somebody on the bill and they get beaten and we just chuck them away. Honestly, we don't work like that. That's why it's development, because you're going to find some guys take a little bit longer to develop than others. But if they're showing you things that you think that you have to give them another. I mean, Tuvia and the boy he fought, what a fight! I honestly believe people love that fight, and that's what it's about. You know, both the boys were on the ground, they were up and about, and they never gave up. They never. I don't know what it is with Boysons, and especially what we did on the last tournament with the lights and with the build up to each fighter. I don't see that those undercard fighters getting the exposure they do on our development bills or on any bill they fight with us. When Laduma fought on our bills, and we had Laduma and we had the better box type of boxers on there, the development guys got the same exposure because we feel it gives them the world to want to box and makes it worth it for them. And I see for days afterwards pictures, and it's not just about the main fight. Yeah, it is. It's about everyone's fight. They're getting pictures, they're getting spoken about, and I think that's good for boxing.
It's good for boxing. They're all growing with the company as well. I suppose with Boxing 5 still in its infancy, so to speak, because you really started it off last year, and then it's just picked up momentum and has been building ever since. I can't wait for the next show. Larry, I'm going to let you go right now, but I'd like to thank you for your thoughts and your impetus on the interview. I'll catch up again with you before the next tournament. Obviously, when we announce it, that'll be great. So you're saying in the not too soon future, which is fantastic.
Not too soon future. And Hayden, I just can't thank you enough for the time and effort and work you put in with our guys, and together being part of the team. People don't realize that having you there and doing what you do also adds unbelievable, gives us credibility. It gives the boxers feeling that they want to go out there and fight. And that's what I just was saying. Sorry to end off on. They don't seem to want to give up. They get up and they fight. They just want to fight. I don't know if it's the atmosphere or what it is, or to prove themselves, but it's fantastic. It helps us.
It helps us a lot. What a tournament, and I can't wait for the next one. Ladies and gentlemen, Larry Wainstein on a great tournament, Boxing 5 promoter, along with his team Riaz and Colin Nathan as well.